Alrighty, welcome into Chalk Talk Social. It is Tuesday, March 10th, and we got free agency busting all over the place in the NFL. The whole league is reshaped in just not even 24 hours. It started March 9th, Monday morning, and what a day it was. We got the Raiders, we got the Titans, we got the Jets, all these teams just spending crazy amounts of money. We got some big moves that we're going to cover. We're going to try to cover as much free agency stuff as we can in today's episode, get into a bunch of this stuff. But Iman, what are we doing? How are we doing? What's going on?
Oh, man, it feels good to be a Ravens fan right now. I just want to sit here and be able to pop my collar because we got my boy from Vegas rolling in. One of the hardest ball players in the league coming with the stats to back it. The character, listen, he celebrates and he's in good spirits because he was celebrating in the big ass house. I was looking at his house like, goodness grief. I thought he was in a museum. I'm being honest. Then I found out that was his house. Whoa, I know my man Butter is excited. You know what I'm saying? Listen, it's on and cracking. And I hate to say it too. Dallas is kind of shaping up. I know you've been waiting to get your boy Rashawn. You've been calling it all year. You've been wanting him out. I don't want to say we. Goddamn.
Yeah, watch that.
Yeah, they didn't flip-flop guys. And I'm telling you, Rashawn Gary is going to be more productive for the Cowboys than Micah Parsons is going to be for Green Bay.
Oh!
Listen, I'm telling you now.
I can't let you get away with that. I just cannot let you get away with that.
Listen, trust me when I tell you, I'm saying it now. He's going to be more productive for Dallas than Michael will be for y'all. So it's scary. But the only thing that's good on the side is Dak's wife is leaving him. She's saying, fuck that. I'm not marrying you. So then again, the offense may not be good. So Dallas still might be trash because.
Actually, because if you remember as Dallas, you were a Dallas fan at this point, Tony Romo, Jessica Simpson, and how that was like the demise of Tony Romo was Jessica Simpson. So maybe, just maybe.
Listen, he didn't want to sign the prenup. So she like, no, she didn't want to sign the prenup. So he like, nah. So I'm telling you, that may be shaky, but on defense, I thought they got better.
Hey, protecting his money, protect the bag. I get it. All right, well, we'll have to crack into that one because I don't think there's a Packer fan in the entire universe that would agree with that. When Michael Parsons on a limited season next year is probably going to outpace Gary by probably double the sack numbers if history has anything to tell us. But I respect the take. They're just building up with a bunch of Packer rejects, a bunch of guys that they knew the Packers are going to cut, and so they just keep giving us picks and good stuff for them anyway. So got to appreciate Jerry Jones letting us fleece him again. But as we do every Tuesday, we got the top 10 and 10. And then, like I said, we're going to real crack into free agency. So why don't we dig into it? Man, free agency heavy on this one. I love this. This is all good stuff, man. All right, number one, got to start with the Raiders because they're absolutely going bananas with their free agent spending spree. Obviously, the biggest one here is signing Tyler Linderbaum to being probably one of the biggest moves of free agency so far. Totally resetting the center market with $27 million per year. Iman, your Ravens were never going to pay that. They were set to pay him, I think it was a little over $23 million. So now he's making a true $27 million. They went out and they traded a dryer sheet for all-pro nickel cornerback Teron Johnson. They re-signed Eric Stokes for a 3-year deal. They brought in Quay Walker for more money than I would have ever given Quay Walker, but they paired him with Nakobe Dean to really bring back that Georgia team. They were teammates at Georgia, so they paired them up together. They went out and added Jalen Naylor from the Vikings, underrated wide receiver 3, man. And I don't know where he's going to shake out in that room. It's not like he's a ultra elite talent, but under the radar, kind of good talent with 10 touchdowns over the last 2 years, and last season especially, he was a helpful piece for J.J. McCarthy. So that was a nice move. They bring in Kwity Paye to help build back up the edge with Crosby gone, and all these contract mans are 3-year deals worth $30 to $48 million outside of course, Linderbaum too. So it's safe to say they went to town with their $100+ million in cap space and just doing big things on day one. What do we got next?
Hey, my Ravens, like I said before, finally made a big splash this free agency, giving up 2 first-round picks for Maxx Crosby in the trade. First time we've ever given up our first-round pick, but who cares? In the past, we had late ones, so we had to make a move this year. Listen, Maxx Crosby is that guy. He's still at least 4 years left on this tread. He's going to do big for us. Since 2019, listen to this. #1 in tackles for losses. number 1 in solo tackles, 2nd in QB pressures, 2nd in QB hits, and 5th in sacks. And y'all got to understand, sacks is a little lower because they've never played with a lead. So you got to think in the fourth quarter, Raiders have always just been getting ran on. So he didn't even have an option to get sacks. So trust me, that sack total will be up next year. And you say what you want to say. Our defense just got that much better with that guy coming off the edge. I'm excited. He is everything about playing like a Raven in Baltimore. And just watch what we do next year. I'm telling everybody now, just watch. Maxx Crosby is the piece we needed to get us to the bowl.
You got some nasty on your edges. Him and Mike Green. That's some nasty on the edge. That's nice. That's Baltimore Ravens nasty. I love it. Next up, we got some big happenings in the quarterback world in free agency. Of course, Malik Willis signing with the Dolphins, and then Tua heading over to Atlanta. So Malik gets 3 years, $67 million, $45 million fully guaranteed, coming in quite a bit cheaper than I think most people expected. With $22 million per year is a pretty sweet deal for Miami. Obviously, Jeff Hafley, new head coach, had a front row seat to everything Malik Willis is all about and his talents for the last 2 years in Green Bay. We all know his running ability is elite, but I mean, this guy has proven to be very good at navigating around the pocket. He's been showing a lot of poise. He's got a lot of zip behind the football, and I know it's been limited starts, but hear me out. Of all quarterbacks with at least 3+ starts since 2024, he's number 1 in completion percentage and number 1 in passer rating. He is, and it's not just dink and dunk stuff either now. He's 8th deepest target depth of qualified quarterbacks last year of 8.8 yards per target. And his average of 4 completions of 20+ yards per game is top ranks, again, of quarterbacks with 3+ starts since 2024. Over on the Tua side of then, you got him going to Atlanta on a 1-year deal worth just over $1 million, which is crazy because Miami is on the hook for a $99 million dead cap with Tua. Crazy cautionary tale for teams going forward. There was a Falcons community. I heard it on Twitter. They were losing their minds as the news broke. They're yelling. They're saying sell the team. And man, if you just look at that Falcons quarterback room now between Penix and Tua, that might be the most injury-prone quarterback room ever assembled in the history of quarterback rooms. That's just an injury waiting to happen. What's next?
Hey, Chiefs land the Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker. Finally, Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs gets an elite running back. Hey, I might have to take my take back on they're not going to make the playoffs ever again because you get Eric Bieniemy. He's never had a back this skillful, this good at this time with Patrick Mahomes coming back. It might get ugly for the AFC again next year, and it was a much-needed position. They were 24th in rush yards last season, 20th in yards per attempt. And, I mean, Kenneth Walker is at his prime right now. And if you know, like I know, Andy Reid's always been able to scheme up a running game with Mr. Pacheco, who's like the Wolverine runner, but he's actually not that good. Alaire was not that good. And your guy, I can't remember his name through my mind. He was old.
Kareem Hunt?
Yeah, Kareem Hunt. So finally, it might get a little scary for the AFC because Patrick Mahomes with an elite running back may just do some things. And they gave him the bag too now. And I know y'all think, hey, 20-something million is not that much. But, hey, that's kind of around what Saquon Barkley got. And to me, he's Saquon Barkley good running back. Not out the backfield, not catching. But when it comes to just toting the football, Kenneth Walker is a for sure upgrade for Kansas City. And, man, I'm a little scared on that because, like I said, my take, they won't make the playoffs again. It's getting a little scary. Seattle, goodness grief. How did y'all let that go?
Yeah, and teams who didn't let their guys go is the Indianapolis Colts. Up next, they bring Alec Pierce back to become the highest paid free agent wide receiver in history. A sentence I never thought I would use words. I never thought I'd say Alec Pierce and highest paid free agents wide receiver in history in the same sentence. Feels crazy. 4 years, $114 million at $60 million guaranteed. And apparently he had bigger offers out there, but he was really feeling the home vibes of Indy. He wants to run it back. He thinks that was the best team in the AFC before Daniel Jones got hurt. And boy, would I hate to have to be a team that has to re-sign Puka or JSN in the near future because Alec Pierce, I mean, 47 catches, barely cracked 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns, just did big things in the receiver market. And it's not like he's top paid. And, they're saying, a lot of people worry about how much he's been paid. He's 9th per year in annual money. I think he's tied with McLaurin at 9th. And, like I said, it is fair to hold that skepticism about what his production has been. But again, let's consider, since he's been in the league, who's been throwing him the football. Has not been a pretty picture. It's between Phillip Rivers, Daniel Jones, which actually he was balling with Daniel Jones. But other than that, really bad Anthony Richards. It's just been a mess at quarterback. And so everything about Alec Pierce's tape alone, outside of who's been throwing him the ball, it speaks for itself in terms of his own talent and his own ability. Sounds like I said he turned down a bunch of bigger money out there to stay home. He's become one of the most premier deep threats in the game. Excellent body control, a wicked catch radius. He's great at boxing out on the jump balls, and they were so confident they just went ahead and traded Michael Pittman right about the same time as giving Alec Pierce all this money. So that's a lot of money for a dude who's pretty much just a field stretcher, but he's been a red zone. I don't know. I see the vision. But like we saw Christian Kirk once upon a time pretty much do something similar where it was like we were having the same was he really worth that? We're trying to one of those. We'll see. I could see it, but there's going to be skepticism, of course. What's next?
Hey, Aaron Glenn is saying, hey, listen, it's time for me to add some vets, some ex-all-pro guys in my locker room because I need some help over here. First of all, I'm not calling good defense, but I need some help on defense. So Jets add DeMario Davis, Mika Fitzpatrick, and, they got Mika Fitzpatrick for 7th round pick. Adding DeMario Davis is a little questionable outside of his production the past few years. Being 37 years old, Mika Fitzpatrick a little late in his career. How much tread is still left on those guys' tires? But DeMario Davis, once again, a 5-time All-Pro, 100 or more tackles in 9 straight years, 120 or more in 3 straight years. Top 8 I don't really like PFF, but top 8 PFF linebackers 6 of the last 7 years. And I honestly think that Aaron Glenn is adding these guys for leadership because let's be clear, I'm hoping DeMario Davis can help, but how many guys can play at an elite level at the age he's at? And Minka Fitzpatrick, I don't know if he was just not satisfied in Miami, but I think he's getting a little old too. But they're also adding things up front. Kingsley, Ekenbari, the help with the defense, run defense, and pass rusher. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know where the NFL is printing all this money because let's be clear, $10 million for that. Come on now. Alec Pierce, $114 million. They print money in the NFL, but hey, I love what Aaron Glenn is doing. He made his bones on defense, and I know he still doesn't have a quarterback, but if nothing else, he might survive one more year if his defense can look like he's actually a guy that he really is on defense. So we'll see. Jets maybe three wins next year still.
Hey, improving. Next up, we got big news late in the day. Mike Evans heads over to the San Francisco 49ers where let's be honest, his muscles are about to be tenderized by that EMF facility next door that's just ruining all these players' bodies. He gets 3 years, $42 million, $16 million guaranteed. That's a damn good price for any version of Mr. 1,000 yards, Mike Evans himself. He has an element to that Shanahan offense that they don't really have right now. Great intermediate guy, big physical jump ball presence. You never know with Ricky Pearsall's health at this point. He hasn't proven to stay healthy. They lost Kendrick Bourne. Brandon Ayuk's out the door. George Kittle's hurt. So it was a big move for this. And I know there's going to be concerns about his age and injury history, but when he's on the field, man, Mike Evans is still as good as it gets. It doesn't matter if he's not a burner and going to run past you, catches freaking everything out there. So, and I'm going to say his decision to leave Tampa kind of felt like some undercover shade being thrown at Baker and Todd Bowles when, he's coming out saying he wants a new challenge. Didn't want to stay around for whatever the Bucs are doing. I know they brought in Anzalone at linebacker. It was a really nice move for them, especially with Levante David on the out. So liked that they went and got him. But hey, man, the 49ers, they went from the Avengers to Avengers Endgame with a bunch of stars who are now old, dying out, fizzling out stars, but still damn good contributors. What's next?
Hey, finally back. Our guy JT finally returned. Jayson Tatum returned after 300 days after Achilles injury. Boston is, listen to me, Boston is going to be scary. I know I talked about it last week. Even without JT returning, I was thinking Boston was going to be able to come out of the East. And granted, when Jayson Tatum first came back, it looked a little shaky. He started a little 0-2, but you got to think about it. He's been out, hasn't been playing 5-on-5 for a long time. The missed dunk threw me for a loop because he's 6'9". So I'm like, you should just be able to.
Brown.
Yeah, you should just be able to. But I think he was just a little tentative coming off, air ball, but guess what? A little of that rust knocked off after a while, and JT went back to doing JT things. And I mean, I don't know if anybody's seen the game Sunday against Cleveland. They made Cleveland look like a pedestrian team, not only just with Jayson Tatum returning. I mean, all of their role player. Woof. I'm telling you right now, Boston is gonna be a scary team because I'll say Jayson Tatum will be back to his all NBA pro guy around the playoffs, adding to with Jaylen Brown MVP running. Boston coming out of the East. I'm calling it right now. Boston will come out of the East because I think they're going to be scary just adding Jayson Tatum because he also just adds that you got to cover me. I don't care what you think. I've been out a long time, but you got to make sure your game plan is for this guy who's been first team all NBA past few years. So Boston back to the championship.
Yeah, and the team that might be seeing them there is the Oklahoma City Thunder, who got SGA out here just on Monday, March 9th, tied Wilt Chamberlain's thought to be unbreakable record of 126 straight games with 20-plus points. So, mind you, this is a record that only Wilt Chamberlain has even come within 45 games of when he ran back a 92-game streak of 20-plus points after his 126. No one else has even come close until SGA right now. I think the next closest, like Oscar Robinson, is like 48 games off the record. So this one has gone on since 1961, I believe, is when Wilt set the record. And for perspective with SGA, the last time he scored under 20 points was October 30th, 2024, when he had 18 points. And then on March 9th, 2026, he ties Wilt Chamberlain's record. One of the longest standing records in the NBA is finally getting knocked down, let's be honest. By the time we're talking here again, me and you, Iman, there's probably a new record holder on that record. And then we're going to see another 60, 70, 80 years of that record probably never getting touched. But just another tip, feather in the cap for SGA. Gonna, again, assuming he meets the qualified games, doesn't get hurt anymore at this point. That one puts a big old feather in the cap for his MVP run again this season to run it back to back. What's next?
All right, last but not least, y'all know I love my running, and this was just an exciting win. American Nathan Martin wins the closest Los Angeles marathon in race history, beating the Kenyans. Nobody can beat these African marathon runners, but he actually beat Michael Kamua by 100th of a second. 100th of a second. I'm talking about if you just go look at how Martin really ran this guy down with like maybe 400 meters to go. And I mean, goodness grief, it was one of the most exciting finishes that I've ever seen. And get this, Nathan Martin is a 36-year-old cross-country high school coach. So just imagine, he's not even a super pro. He's a high school cross-country coach winning the Los Angeles Marathon. And like I said, to see an American win that, and he finished in 2 hours, 11 minutes, 16.50 seconds, 100th of a second. He won that marathon race. And like I said, anytime an American can beat an African in a marathon race, we got to be excited about that because we never beat him. We never beat him. So shout out to my guy, Nathan Martin. Keep doing your thing. He's a fellow high school track coach like myself. So I always like to see these guys do good. Good job, Nathan.
Boom. Nice stuff, man. I've learned so much about track since we started this podcast. Something I've never tapped into, but good to hear some stuff. I mean, why don't we start off today? This is going to be all free agent stuff. So let's just start with, we got to talk Falcons quarterback real quick. The Falcons are on a generational run at quarterback. They signed Kirk Cousins, then they immediately drafted Michael Penix, and now they've signed Tua Tagovailoa to a $1 million deal. Funny enough, I just came across this stat. Only 33 lefty quarterbacks have ever played in the NFL. 3 of them are actively in the NFL. 2 of them are on the Dolphins right now. And the other one is Dylan Gabriel, who Kevin Stefanski was just coaching. So Kevin Stefanski collects left-handed quarterbacks like Thanos collects gemstones. But I don't know what you do. Do you have an idea of how the Falcons, because I know you're not a Penix guy. I'm much more of a Penix guy than you are. But now we're talking Tua in the mix. How do the Falcons address the quarterback room here? It's obviously going to be a QB1 battle in camp. But I don't know if there's at this point, if there's a clear-cut favorite, it's who to be QB1.
I'm just starting to think, because Falcons already had a bad quarterback view from drafting people and picking people. But Kevin Stefanski got to be the worst quarterback, just talent watcher ever. I've been off on Tua. I just think, I told you before, I hate the left-hand guys. You got 2 butter soft left-hand guys in your room. Now, is Tua better than Penix? For sure. Will Tua be okay with the talent around him with London and Kyle Pitts and, a fierce running game with Bijan Robinson? But Tua's not going to get you Tua's not going to get you over the top because he's just not an elite guy. He's never been elite. He has not been good since Alabama. Let's be clear. Take away that 1 year he had Tyreek and Jalen Waddle and all that trickery shit. I feel bad for Atlanta because you got 3 bad quarterbacks in the locker room. Let's be clear. You got 3 bad quarterbacks there. And like I said, granted, I think Tua's a little bit better than Michael Penix, but I fucking hate Tua.
And he hasn't been the same ever since, the long list, the CVS receipt of injuries, the hip injury, the back injury, the never-ending concussions, the seizures on the field. Shit, man, is scary. Honestly, I feel bad for the pass catchers because, Penix, I think at this point in both of their careers, there's still more to get out of Penix than there is to get out of Tua. So in terms of how much more does Tua realistically have to offer? Let's be honest. Tua signed a 1-year, $1 million deal for a reason here. He might be out of the NFL next year, whereas Penix, at the very least, there's another 5, 6, 7 years of tread, assuming, he also stays healthy. But the problem is you got the most banged up, like I said earlier, the most banged up quarterback room in the NFL. You don't know which one of if either of these dudes are going to be healthy on a given week. It's hard to bank. So this is a really interesting quarterback battle coming in. I feel bad for the pass catchers. Either way, you're catching balls out of a lefty quarterback. I really don't know what you do. I think it's generally going to come down to who's Kevin Stefanski going to favor. And let's be clear, Kevin Stefanski didn't draft Michael Penix. The current leadership in Atlanta did not draft Michael Penix. Matt Ryan did not draft Michael Penix. Tua is there probably to be the guy who is the presumed starter going into camp. And they're probably saying, Penix, come earn the job. You've shown moments, you've shown flashes, but we know that Tua has done some really nice things in the NFL when he's got, a good system around him, they got weapons to throw to. And if Tua's on the field, he can be effective in terms of at least completion percentage for the most part. He really sucked that. Tua really, there's a reason why Falcons Twitter was crashing out on Twitter when they signed Tua. He sucked last year, and Penix was not as bad as Tua. So I don't know what you do, to be honest. It's just going to be interesting. It's going to be down to the wire.
Yeah, and I think both guys who kind of leaned on their accuracy early in their careers, last year, I looked at Penix, and that was the thing. He was supposed to be this accurate guy, but I watched a couple games where it's like a pitcher. Once you just lose that fastball, it's kind of over for you. So I just feel like both of those guys who had to lean on their accuracy because they don't have the strongest arm, even though I think Penix throw a better deep ball than Tua. But I think both of those guys lost their accuracy. It's a flip of a coin. I'm gonna tell you, Kevin Stefanski should just flip a coin and whatever side to hang on, because I just think they're gonna be bad with either one of them. Listen, I can't call it. I don't see how you see Michael Penix got more tread. He's got 2 knee injuries with 3 knee injuries. He's a little older. He had all the talent. I don't think he wants to play in Atlanta because you got to look at him. y'all bringing in Tua now. Where's his confidence going to be at even being a starter when they're bringing another guy who's been a starter in the NFL, who's been considered pretty good at some point? So I think even if Michael Penix just mentally won't be locked in, so I think they might as well need to go with Tua, because
I almost think it's the opposite in the sense of, like, I think it lights a fire under his ass. He knows there's a guy in camp who's a low end NFL starter, but can be a serviceable enough starter to where Michael Penix is like, hey, we use this top draft pick on you. It's kind of been a whole fucky thing. And now it's like, this is kind of his moment to like make or break it. So I think it's going to be like a fire under his ass. And again, I think the ceiling is still higher with Penix. He's got more years left in terms of, like, if we're just comparing their age. I mean, his injury history is bad. Tua's is worse, which is like hard to do, but somehow it's worse. And Penix just has the bigger arm, a bit more definitely more zip on the ball too. So I don't know. Like, now that I'm talking, it's like I almost think, going back on what I said, that I think Penix will probably have the edge in camp, and then it's the Falcons being like, you know what? This is the point. I have no idea what's going to happen in Atlanta, and that's not a great place to be going into a season where you got, I don't know, with QB1 and QB2. How'd you feel about the Malik Willis move, though? The Dolphins, Willis and A-Chain, that's the best backup. That's like
I'm gonna tell you, Austin. I really think these people are listening to the podcast. If not, they're listening. Somebody's listening. We talked about Malik Willis joining Jeff Hafley for a couple weeks now. I want to say maybe a month ago we talked about it when Jeff Hafley got the job. I think that's going to be a for sure upgrade for him. He's going to get his chance to show if he's ready to be a starter in the league again. And I mean, I think the athleticism is going to help him a little bit more than Tua, because even if their line's not that good, Malik Willis has shown that he can get upfield using his legs. His arms are 10 times stronger than what Tua is. And I mean, he's a young guy, so he's going to be able to keep working on his accuracy. And granted, he hasn't had a lot of games under his belt. Even coming from Liberty, he didn't play a lot. So I think Miami's going to be a good place for him. Now, they're going to have to be patient, though. You can't get this young guy in here and expect him to take Miami to a playoffs right off top. And I know he had a couple good games with Green Bay last year, but just give him some time. And I think Malik Willis will be top 15 quarterback in a couple years. Because, I mean, he has all the tools. He has all the tools in his toolbox. Strong arm, accuracy, can use his feet. I mean, he clearly, and that's why I say you got to give Matt LaFleur and those guys little credit. They rejuvenated his career, and I mean, he got a couple dollars from it too. I mean, $22 million a year, I take it, especially when you were almost out of the league leaving Tennessee. So
yeah, hell of a climb back, man. I mean, you remember, go all the way back. I mean, Packer fan, I'm ecstatic for Malik Willis. Great dude. Everybody remembers the clip at the combine where he was out there, you know, helping out a homeless person, like bringing food or something. Like, just a good soul. He was buried on the depth chart in Auburn, goes to Liberty, makes a big name for himself as a potential first-round draft pick. Got just the worst shake of the, you know, how things played out in Tennessee it was a mess in Tennessee. Comes to the Green Bay Packers school of quarterbacking with LaFleur and co. And now he's out earning himself a big bag and finally got the starter role that he wanted. And y'all saw it. These are some of the best legs on a quarterback in football right now. Like, I would say it's him and Lamar Jackson are the best two dual threat quarterbacks in the NFL, and like above Jalen Hurts. Go back and flick on Malik Willis' tape last year and what he did was as a runner. Goodly. I mean, I think he had 58 yards per game, which is also best among all quarterbacks with 3+ starts since 2024. So I'm really excited. Him and A-Chain back there, man. Oh man, is that an electric rushing duo back there? And then you got Waddle. The athleticism for the playmakers in Miami is woo-wee. It's gonna be a fast offense. So I'm kind of excited, but I agree with you. I don't think you got to temper expectations for year one. It's gonna take a little bit of time. Like, they will be more competitive. Absolutely, I think they're gonna be more competitive. Are they gonna be able to beat the Patriots and the Bills? Let's be clear. Probably not. They're probably at best finishing third place above the Jets. Like, I still feel good about that, but fringe at best wild card team, and they better win 9 games to, you know, be on that fringe. And I just don't know if that's exactly going to happen in year one here with how things are, but very excited for Malik Willis, and Yeah, a lot of good points there. All right. Your guy, Maxx Crosby. We got to talk about this one real quick. I mean, you're excited for it. Every reason to be excited for it. Now, was it an overpay with giving up 2 first-round picks, given that he's a 29-year-old edge rusher who's kind of declined in the last 2 years? Or was it just one of those moves like whatever it takes to get this defense on track, give Jesse Minter the tools, 2 first rounds, we'll eat it and whatever. Do you like the cost? Are you cool with it? Where are you at with the whole trade?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care if they asked for 3 first. You had to do something. Baltimore, we had to do something. So, I mean, especially just hearing about how many other teams were trying to offer 2 first-round picks, but they just didn't have the ones that we had. So, I don't think they overpaid. I think they had to go out here. And see, even outside of, let's keep it real, outside of the stats, Maxx Crosby is a guy who can rejuvenate a whole team with his energy. Like if you hear stories about how he practiced, like how he prepares himself, 6 years sobriety, I love that. He's just been not getting high, not getting drunk. You know what I'm saying? Stuff. I mean, I'm just being honest because he had a lot of that coming in the league about, he was a wild white guy. So, I think he's just gonna be a great leader for Baltimore because clearly. And I love Lamar. I really do. But when you start hearing things about him not showing up at OTAs and just beefing with the offense, that's not leadership shit to me. So we needed a guy who can come in day one and show the team, hey, listen, this is how you get it done. This is how you stay relevant for all these years. And I mean, if he's only good for 3 years and he get us in the Super Bowl, shit, give up another first round and add another $10 million on his paycheck because he'll be worth it. I think he's gonna be worth it. I mean, listen, and look who's in our division: Joe Burrow. If Aaron Rodgers comes back, who else? We need a guy who can go get the quarterback because I think Cincinnati will be better next year. I don't care what nobody say. If Joe Burrow is healthy, we're gonna need somebody to go get him done. Aaron Rodgers, he took Steelers back to the playoffs. So they added a receiver over there too. So they're only getting better. Like I said, Austin, I think we could have gave up 3 first-round picks if we needed to because we just needed to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big cost, man. Especially if you just got to when you're making these type of trades, you got to compare it to what else do we know. And obviously, the Packers traded 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark, who they were planning to cut anyways at that point, sounds like. They traded, it was essentially the same package that Parsons got, and he's only 26, that the Ravens gave up for a 29-year-old Maxx Crosby. And if you think about Parsons in 2026, he's costing $19 million. In 2027, he's $27 million. And then it goes way up from there. And then Crosby is $30 million each of the next 2 years. And he does have the 10th most sacks over the last 3 seasons, but when you're giving up 2 first, you would like to see that number to be like more like, top 5 sacks the last 2 seasons to prove that you really got that juice left in you. Cause I think, we talked about the top with your Rashawn Gary prediction. I think Rashawn Gary, who didn't have a sack in his last 10 games last season, finished with as many or more pressures than Maxx Crosby. So I think there's at least an argument to did they kind of overpay a little bit here, especially because it was pick 14 this year, and then what they're presuming will be a pick in the late 20s at least in 2027 type of thing. But I agree with all the points you made. It's a great in terms of he fits the Baltimore nasty culture type of thing, mentality, a veteran presence on that defense, a guy who's going to be able to work with Mike Green, a young guy who needs a little direction and guidance himself. He's had some, alleged off-field things that, I think will be good to get a guy like Maxx Crosby work with him, hopefully getting him to find the light because he can be a freaking beast, man. So I think if nothing else, you eat the cost at the potential upside with this one. Even if you want to say they slightly overpay for Crosby, the upside is your defense gets back on track and and this is a type of all-in move, chip to the center of the table to get Lamar Jackson to the Super Bowl and get this thing back on track. Now, while we're on the Ravens topic here, how'd you feel about that Isaiah Likely to the Giants and you guys chose Mark Andrews over Likely?
See, now that's one thing where you say age. Mark Andrews to me is past his prime, and I think Isaiah Likely kind of needed more touch, needed more pushing the offense. I mean, he's shown that he can be that guy at tight end. So maybe they know something I don't know. I just think Mark Andrews is past his prime. I thought Isaiah Likely was a better tight end. So I'm going to miss him. I know Lamar will, because Lamar does look for him in some I'm telling you, in clutch situations last year and year before, Isaiah Likely has been big for him. I mean, it's good for the Giants, but it's kind of bad for us because I don't think Mark Andrews is got it. No, I don't want to say that. Mark Andrews, you got something left. I hope you do, because if not, I'm going to be upset. But I loved Isaiah Likely for what he did for us. But, yeah, I didn't like that one. And, I mean, like I said, losing our center, goodness grief, what we doing on offense? So, yeah.
Yeah. I think I was kind of surprised to see it. Good for the Giants to go out and get another nice weapon for Jackson Darton and company there with Likely. I think that's a great move for them. And, yeah, I mean, it's one of those arguments. Like, we seen Mark Andrews when in the volume game and how good that was. And maybe they're banking on, if they just stay healthy, we just give Mark Andrews the volume again, man, because, I mean, the receiving core hasn't been fixed in Baltimore yet.
Fuck.
So I don't know. But all right, let's go. I mean, we can go into really quick kind of what we're thinking were our favorite moves so far, favorite signing, our favorite trade. Before we really get into this one, I mean, being my Packers fandom, I got to go into the Rashawn Gary thing. And I know you made this erratic claim that he's going to finish better than Parsons next year, which again, I cannot let that slide. But hey, if Green Bay just needs to cut a dude, just call Jerry. Jerry going to pick up that phone and be like, how can I give you picks for this guy that you're going to cut instead? So we got to acknowledge that the Packers, so that Micah Parsons trade, for Packers Cowboys, it really ends up in 2 firsts, Kenny Clark, Rashawn Gary, to the Cowboys for Micah Parsons and a 4th-round pick. Gary, I don't know if y'all saw this. Gary posted a message on Instagram, a farewell message before the move, and then deleted it immediately saying, oh, my account got hacked. Bullshit, obviously. And then, so the whole league knows Gary was gone. He was getting cut. And what happens? Jerry Jones decides he's too good of a player to let hit the open market. We got to give the Packers a 4th-round pick for this guy that they're literally about to cut instead. And it's a huge win for the Packers. They clear $40 million in cap space over the next 2 seasons now. And they get rid of a dude that has been underperforming for 3-4 years now, but especially the last 2 years have been tough to watch. Rashawn Gary, man. And like I said, his last 10 games in Green Bay, 0 tackles for loss, 1.5 run stuffs, 0 sacks, and the effort was abysmal. He was jogging at best. He couldn't get off blocks from running backs and tight ends. It was just done. So now the Packers don't got to worry about, maybe blocking some young talent, some younger guys that they're high on for the hopes that, all right, maybe Rashawn Gary at 29 will finally turn it on. The guy's yet to have a 10-sack season, right? This is why I'm forever being, do not waste your top 15 pick on a project athlete who does not have college production, because it might just turn out to be Rashawn Gary. And it just kind of, last year was tough. It was tough to watch Rashawn Gary. I'm very happy the Packers cut anything out of this trade. Why do you think he's going to be so much better in Dallas?
Well, see, I think, and Jerry probably was from this perspective. He lost out on Maxx Crosby. They had to do something. I mean, that pass rush in Dallas, that defense in Dallas was abysmal last year.
Yep.
So I guess he's looking at Rashawn Gary for his potential and what he used to do. But who else was out here? He had to go get somebody.
Hendrickson. Because Hendrickson's still out there. Trey Hendrickson's still out there.
He would have to pay too much for him, though. I don't think Jerry would have been able to afford Trey. And I'm pretty sure they made a couple calls. I just think Trey was going to cost too much for what they were trying to do with that defense right now. And you got to think, we're going into I keep saying we. Goodness fucking grief.
Oh, man, you got that Cowboys hat somewhere by you, don't you?
It's right to the left of me, but they're going into a 3-4, so they kind of needed somebody on the outside that can also help with the run, because once again, not only Rashawn Gary, I think he'll do better in the pass rush in Dallas, but they needed somebody to help with run stopping. I just think Jerry had to. I told you I like Rashawn Gary's game. And sometimes when you speak of the effort, I think he just really wanted to get out of Green Bay. I'm being honest.
I don't think so, man. He's been a cultural leader his whole career here, and like that's why it's tough because I've always backed him because like he's been such a good dude to have in the locker room and nothing but like high energy octane player his whole career until last season it all died. It was gone.
But just imagine you being all of that. And this guy who hasn't done really thing in the league comes in and everybody's saying, oh, now the Packers are going to be a Super Bowl contender. Austin, they're human too. So I could understand how he felt, how everybody thought that Micah was just going to elevate them past of what he's been playing decent. Now, I'm not saying he's been an all-pro, but the defense has been good, and I could probably understand, like, goddamn, am I chopped liver? I've been here. I've been here grinding, like you said, a locker room guy. For y'all to just give a guy who, once again, I think just hasn't done anything when it mattered. All this props about he's going to take the Packers to the Super Bowl. So I could kind of understand him. And what's even better, he's going to replace him in Dallas where he can say, hey, y'all thought he was that guy. I'm going to show you what he should have been doing in Dallas. I'm trying to listen. I'm trying.
Gary could only dream of the sack numbers Micah Parsons produced on a half. The goal was you have the best 1-2 edge rush combination in the NFL. That was the goal. It was, hey, we're bringing Micah Parsons. There's no more excuses about Gary getting chipped all the time, getting doubled all the time. All the attention is going to go to Parsons. All the running backs are going to shift towards Parsons. The tight ends are going to go to Parsons' side. Gary, you're going to get one-on-ones, and you're going to be freed up to just get after the quarterback and just eat and feast. And the first half of the season kind of looked okay. Like, oh, okay, this is kind of working the plan. And then even before Parsons before he got hurt and left, it was like, where's Gary? Where's Gary? And then Parsons get hurt and Gary was gone to the extent that this is the crazy part that, Cowboys fans aren't going to be as familiar with. Gary was pseudo benched in pass rush sets and obvious pass rush downs. Gary was off the field for younger dudes and less proven dudes because he simply was not getting the job done and could not apply even a lick of pressure. He was on the bench on obvious pass downs. That is a problem for a guy who is getting paid one of the tops at the position that is paid to get sacks and produce sacks and be a game wrecker, and he wasn't doing any of it. It was one of those, it's time to move on, and maybe you're right. Maybe a change of scenery is like one of those things. Like it happens to a lot of guys. Like a change of scenery, new scheme. Obviously, Christian Parker, he's familiar. Christian Parker was in Green Bay with Gary, so I'm sure there was some level of influence there as well. And maybe so. I mean, Gary, Quinn Williams, I'm not going to really throw a lot of weight into Kenny Clark, but like I can kind of see what they're hoping for. I can kind of see what they're hoping for. Will they get that? I don't know about that.
I'm going to just tell you also, I don't see how I watch every snap of Micah Parsons since he's been in the league. He's never gave what y'all see in stats against a team that's been a playoff contender or at any moments in the playoffs where you can say, hey, that's the guy that everybody's talking to. I just can't see. And I've watched every snap of Micah Parsons when he played for the Cowboys since he's been in the league. And I just don't see what everybody else sees in that guy. Like he's not a good run stopper. And I'm telling you, when the game gets tough and when it matters, that guy will not be around. He's going to be Casper. I'm trying to tell you. I keep telling you now.
I mean, a lot of those points definitely stood when he was in Dallas. The run game thing changed last year. He was very effective as a run defender in Green Bay. But all right, how about this? Let's get into it though with our favorite moves. Do you have a favorite signing or a favorite trade that's gone down so far? Maybe something under the radar that we should be talking more about, Nathan?
I hate to say this. I got a bold take because every year a team that don't make the playoffs, they make it. The Raiders are going in the playoffs next year. Now, we're going to get on them. But to me, what they're doing in their front office is underrated. And I think people are not seeing exactly how they're trying to build this team now. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you right now, the Raiders will be in the playoffs in 2027.
So yeah, 2 years. So are you saying the Raiders are right now your front runners for
Yes,
offseason
the
champs?
best. They've been made the best moves these past few weeks. They made the best moves by getting those first round picks for Maxx Crosby, bringing Linderbaum in, bringing Quay Walker in, bringing Dean in, solidifying that defense with some leadership and some guys who actually can ball. Not only that 11th pick, they're going to get another receiver there, but they're also adding. I'm telling you, Naylor is going to be a solid number 2. He really was under the radar with Justin Jefferson and
Jordan
Addison. So people didn't see it, but I watched a few games because my friend actually likes the Minnesota Vikings. He's from fucking Virginia. I'm like,
Sorry for that guy.
Yeah, how do you fall on the Vikings? But I watched him. He's a pretty good receiver for a third receiver. I'm telling you, the Raiders, Tom Brady knows football. Let's be clear. Tom Brady knows football because just the coach.
Man. I mean, you're right. You're right. And it's impossible to say that the Raiders aren't the easy front runners for offseason champions this year, right? Obviously, you get Clint Kubiak. You get the offensive guru who just won a Super Bowl. You got the first overall pick that you already know Mendoza's your quarterback. And now you give Mendoza one of the top centers in football. I mean, there's debate around how much better is Linderbaum than, the next couple guys below him. And is he really worth that much more money than the guys who are kind of below him? He's a great scheme fit for what the Seahawks did, what Kubiak likes to do, and what his talents are. So you got Mendoza. You got a veteran center who's one of the best in the league, who's a good fit for you that he's going to be taking snaps from. That's a huge underrated pairing that, we can't take lightly. Obviously, you got pick 11 where you're probably going to go get yourself another day one starter. You're adding all of this to Ashton Jeanty in your backfield, Brock Bowers. Like, you got dudes. And Quay Walker, I think, it's unfortunate with Quay Walker because he's a freak athlete and he made a lot of improvements once Edgerrin Cooper came on. Once Edgerrin Cooper really came on for the Packers, it took Edgerrin Cooper to really start to unlock Quay Walker's potential. That said, Quay Walker remains one of the worst linebackers in pass coverage in all regards, and just watching him get cooked over the middle week after week after week, I am so glad as a Packers fan I never have to watch Quay Walker get cooked in coverage ever again. But if you get Nakobe Dean kind of on the green dot running the mic, and you kind of get Quay Walker coming off the edge or being more of an outside guy, I mean, I think you're just going to kind of unlock his talent a little bit. Again, I wouldn't have paid him the money they paid him. But again, you pay guys off of projection. He's still got a lot left of the tank. He flies around. Kwity Paye, it's a good guy to bring in to help kind of start offsetting, losing Maxx Crosby and at least get something on the edge as well. And of course, Dean and Walker can both get after the quarterback themselves. Eric Stokes, big reclamation project that's totally worked out. The Packers got rid of him. The injuries just made it really hard for him to stay around in Green Bay and for them to want to pay him. He goes over to the Raiders, stays healthy, and is looking really good on the perimeter there as well. So, and obviously you get Teron Johnson in the nickel, one of the best nickel cornerbacks in football. Still, say what you will, if he's regressed as a tackler or anything, the dude is still elite in coverage and one of the best nickels, a recent All-Pro. So I love what the Raiders are doing. I agree. I think 2027, I don't know where the Chiefs are at, man. I don't know what the Chiefs are doing on defense because the Chiefs don't have McDuffie anymore. They don't got Jalen Watson anymore. They don't got Joshua Williams. They've gotten rid of all of their top defensive backs. So I don't know what their plan is on defense. They got old Chris Jones. I believe they lost Leo Chanel, who's as a free agent. And you haven't really done much except for bringing Ken Walker and re-sign Travis Kelce. So I don't know exactly where the Chiefs' vision is right now, but I can see where the Raiders' vision is at. And this is looking like
bad.
Yeah,
and I'm going to tell you one thing also, it's an underrated thing. Everybody loves a good left tackle, but for a rookie quarterback who's coming in the NFL, having a guy who's going to be able to help you with protections and calling out who's the mic, who's blitzing. Not only that, let's look at the backfield. Ashton Jeanty will have a breakout year because Clint Kubiak, his dad, Kubiak, name me a running back that they didn't look good with. You go back to his dad. I'm telling you, that zone, the two ones up, what they do is block down, double team up. I'm telling you, that zone, what they're going to do with Ashton Jeanty. And Brock Bowers still is probably one of the most talented tight ends. So I just think Linderbaum is going to help Mendoza a lot with things he won't see early. And I play quarterback. I can tell people all the time, I can handle pressure from the edge because I can see with my peripheral stepping up and then stepping out. Getting pressure up the middle, you can't do shit. So I think that's going to be a low-key key for Mendoza to have a semi-successful year because he's still going to be a rookie. But I think that's going to – and I don't think they're going to rely on him next year. I think they're going to run that ball, and he's going to kind of manage the game his first couple of years. But Raiders, awesome job.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and you got to, it's a tough, I mean, the Chargers are making moves themselves. The Broncos bring back J.K. Dobbins. I don't know what your thoughts are with Michael Pittman getting traded to the Steelers. Now, it's kind of one of those, like, the Steelers definitely need receiver help, but it's a little bit uninspiring in the sense of, like, it feels like Pittman has already hit his ceiling. And, like, what you saw last year, I don't remember what he finished with last year. Like, what do you have? 80 catches, just under 800 yards, 7 touchdowns. It feels like that's kind of going to be his journey again with DK Metcalf obviously in there. I mean, DK is the number one with Calvin Austin and what else as receiver? I mean, Kenneth Gainwell essentially as the number 2 or 3 receiver. Even DK Metcalf struggled to get volume in that offense. So I don't know exactly how much Pittman adds besides the fact that he's just another big body receiver, a good pairing with DK Metcalf type of thing, a little bit more reliable, more comfort. And I got to say this with the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. You bring in Kenny Pickett because he's a hometown guy. You bring in Mike McCarthy, hometown guy. You bring in Pittman, whose name is literally Pitt. I mean, Steelers love their like the. I see what you're doing here, Pittsburgh. You can't fool me too much, but yeah, I don't know. I thought it was I mean, for the Colts' sake, I mean, big stocks up for obviously Alec Pierce and obviously Josh Downs. Big stocks up in their volume. Pierce, the kind of thing with Pierce, it sounds like he's going to be an 8 to 10 target a game type of guy now. Do you have any thoughts on that trade or any other trades that went down?
I mean, I thought that was a decent trade for Pittsburgh because they just needed somebody. They needed somebody else that can help that offense. And, Mike McCarthy, he's made a few number twos get a couple dollars in the past few years. If you just go back and look at like guys that he's had number twos where his number twos are always productive. So he probably was just looking for somebody outside of DK, and it wasn't much out there. And I think Pittman will be good. But see, once again, who is Aaron Rodgers going to be next year? I mean,
if it's Aaron Rodgers,
yeah. Well, you have no other Austin. They have no other choice. But if he took you to the playoffs, give him one more year if he wanted. Now, if he doesn't want to play, then that'll backfire against you. But they don't have any other choice but to bring back Aaron Rodgers. That Alec Pierce, though, I'm being honest. That contract is ridiculous. Like, you think they paid too much for Crosby. I just don't see how these mid-level guys. He's not a top 10 receiver. Nobody would have put that guy on a top 10 list. How is he getting $114 million? I'm being honest, Austin. Come on, Austin.
It's all these contracts, man. It's like it's all projection. It's all based on future production that we think you're gonna have.
From guys that's not top 10.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. It is crazy. There's reason for skepticism with Pierce because he only has one 1,000-yard season and he barely cracked that. But again, I think it comes down to when you just watch Alec Pierce and not the whole. There's a lot of problems around him from a coaching perspective, from a quarterback perspective that undoubtedly has held him back. And obviously they got Michael Pittman, who they invested a lot in, who's kind of fizzled, a good route runner for sure. Josh Downs is coming in. So it's like they've never been able to allocate much volume towards Alec Pierce. But year by year by year, Alec Pierce he's ticking up in volume. He's ticking up in production. And then when you just cut the film on him, man, like I said, he is a premier. Where he's not a top 10 receiver, but he is a top 3 genuine, pure deep threat. I would say he's a top 3 deep threat in the NFL. He's, I think, back-to-back years now, led the NFL in yards per reception. In back-to-back years. I mean, the dude is averaging 20 yards a catch in 2 straight seasons, and no one else is putting up his numbers from a deep ball perspective at this point. So, and again, I get it. I'm here for this. I'm here.
Dowsum, Dowsum on Street Fighter used to have them long arms to stretch out. That's the Dowsum Street Fighter reach. I remember I said this, y'all. That is a Dowsum reach.
I see it. No, I'm there for it. I'm all about the skepticism with this one, and I would prefer to pay a player who has shown legitimate production year after year after year, not just 1 year of not even 50 catches and barely 1,000 yards. But again, I just think it comes down to the player that we have to evaluate rather than the whole thing that might have been holding this player back from more. Because I'd be willing to bet you, Alec Pierce finishes next season with 75 plus catches, over 1,200 yards, and probably hovering around 10 touchdowns. Are you paying that money for that stat line?
Hell no.
No?
I'm not paying $100 million for 70 catches. I think you can find any receiver to catch 70 balls in the league. Now 10 touchdowns, that's high up there, but I can't pay $100 million for 70 catches.
He's gonna get a lot of looks, man.
I need 100 catches.
I get that. I think there's more that goes into it, but I get what you're saying. The last thing on Pittman, though, I'll say is, it's like you said, assuming it is Rodgers under center, what I think the advantage to the Steelers here is you got Michael Pittman, who's a savvy route runner, and he's very good at finding the soft spot in zones. It's kind of been something he's been known for in his career. That's perfect for an aging quarterback who just needs smart guys out there to do their jobs and get open. That's going to be good for Aaron Rodgers, and especially with DK Metcalf. I like the fact that they went out and got Jamel Dean at cornerback as well. They re-signed Asante Samuel Jr., Cole Holcomb. So I'm kind of in on what the Steelers are trying to do here. I can see what they're doing, but interesting stuff going on there. In terms of other teams that I think you could say, I think there's two signings that have kind of caught my eye that we should be talking more about. One, I think Mike Evans is probably one of the best signings this whole day so far. Then day one, I think Mike Evans might have been, because it's coming in so cheap, and I think it helps fill a need that the 49ers really needed. Now, will they be able to keep those muscles on the bone with the EMF facility roasting all those guys' muscles right across the door? I don't know. But, I mean, if he's healthy, man, that's a huge, huge addition. I don't care what age.
For sure.
If he's on the field, that's a major, major win for the 49ers, and he came in pretty cheap. Secondly, and this is going to hurt me to say because I hate the Bears, but Kobe Bryant to the Bears, man, that was a great signing for them. The guy forces a ton of fumbles. He's a ball hawk. He's much better in man coverage than what they got with Bayard and Jaquan Brisker. It sounds like this might be kind of the writing on the wall for the end of Jaquan Brisker in Chicago, at least soon. So, Kobe Bryant's only turned 27. He allowed the second lowest passer rating among safeties in 2025, and his 4 interceptions last year were fourth most of all the safeties. So Chicago really needed to shore up defensively in a big way. That's kind of what held them back, man. The offense was cruising. That defense could not get the job done. So you go bring in a guy who is he's killing it, man. He's playing his best football. He's just entering his prime years, really. And he's looking like he could be one of the top 5, 6 safeties over the next couple of years. I think that was a huge addition that seemed like it was just a casual whatever move, but I think Chicago stands to benefit tremendously from that one.
I hate his name.
It's tough.
I hate saying Kobe Bryant and not be talking about Jelly Bean and rest in peace to the Mamba. I'm just all Kobe. So I hate his name, but yes, he can ball. So I guess he has that Mamba mentality. Speaking of DBs too, though, I think the LA Rams are, with those 2 corners that they just picked up, yeah. I'm slowly and granted, now that San Fran got Mike Evans, it's kind of like, all right, we needed to really do something there. I think the LA Rams is one of those sneaking under that radar, getting the needs they needed to be able to get back to a Super Bowl. So I will watch out for the Rams because, they got 2 legit corners that they desperately needed. So I will watch out for the Rams. But, yeah, I'm going to tell you, if Mike Evans get hurt next year, San Francisco need to literally just move in the practice facility. Move your team. If Mike Evans get hurt, because, he's been pretty durable. He kind of a little hurt last year, hamstrings. But if he get hurt this year, man, San Fran, y'all gonna have to move that team.
Yeah. No, Rams, man. The Rams' weakness that they had to address this offseason was cornerback. They could have went and tried to draft the next Trent McDuffie. They said, nope, we're just going to go get Trent McDuffie. And, oh, by the way, we're going to go get his top running mate with Jalen Watson, who is another great signing. They go get for 3 years a $51 million deal. I mean, they had the 19th best pass defense last year, and that was kind of it. That was kind of the weakness of this team. Like, we know what that offense is. We know that they're pretty solid up. They're really solid up front. They were just there were some uncertainties in the back end that really had to get figured out, where now you go in and bring in a 2-time All-Pro who's 25 freaking years old. You will get his running mate who's been one of the best, like a really solid, another guy that you can just rely on. I mean, I think the Rams, I mean, it started with you go get Trent McDuffie to stop JSN. Now you go get Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson and be like, shoot, we're taking this last year with Matt Stafford real seriously. Matt Stafford's going to be 38. Let's be clear. This is probably his last season. They're really going all in. Let's make the Super Bowl. We're going to go address our biggest need with certified talent. Fuck them picks. Don't want them. Let's go get these guys. Let's win right now. It's been the Les Snead special, man. Just puts together good teams.
And if you had a good pass rush with that team just rushing 4, imagine with 2 good corners. Now you can start bringing a little bit more pressure. If they thought the Rams brought pressure before with just bringing Verse and Fisk and them guys up front, watch with them adding some freaky things and them blitz packages with 2 guys on the outside that you can kind of just say, hey, just do your thing. Do your thing. So they're going to be dangerous. But, yeah, that was one of my sneaky Raiders, number 1, sneaky under the radar Rams.
Yeah, I like that. And then I got to also give some shout outs to the Tennessee Titans here, right? Another team who just had, I mean, hold on. They had a shitload of money to spend, just like the Raiders. And they might not have gone out and get the biggest of names, but they're slowly and steadily checking boxes on gaps. Wan'Dale Robinson, I love that move. That is a volume hog. And I think he was super underrated with the Giants. I think he's just an underrated talent in general that Cam Ward needed another big time. Cam Ward got shit to throw to right now. And you go get a Wan'Dale Robinson you can stick in the slot and just feed targets if need be. And he's a great playmaker as well. So I love that, one, you're going to get him to give to Cam Ward and help out your young quarterback who needs some more targets. So I love that one. They obviously went out and got Alante Taylor. That was a huge move for their secondary. Cordell Flott is another good move. And, Franklin Myers, I think they overpaid for up in the defensive tackle. I think he was the second best defensive tackle on those Bronco teams next to Zach Allen, but still a really productive piece. If you put him now next to Jeffrey Simmons, I think that's an awesome 1-2 punch at D tackle there. So I like what the Titans are doing with that one. And the Cordell Flott thing, man, it sounded like he was a done deal to stay around, and then it was a last-second attempt to get him to change his mind. The Titans kind of laid out their whole plan for how they want to use him in Robert Saleh's defense and what they believed he'd be able to accomplish in that defense, and that proved to be the difference maker. And they went out to get a really young ascending talent with Flott to pair next to Alante Taylor, who's been a really good cornerback. So I like that they went out and kind of prioritized fixing their secondary, put a lot of pieces in play for Robert Saleh to be successful. And obviously they traded Trevonde Sweat and went out and got Jermaine Johnson from the Jets, who, he's been definitely underwhelming, but a guy you can put in there as a rotational pass rusher and whatnot. And I think it's been energizing. These aren't world beater moves, but I think they're energizing moves for a fan base that just need some juice back into them. They need some life back into them.
They better squeeze some more lemons, because that ain't enough juice. Wan'Dale, I'm telling you, these average guys is getting too much credit in the NFL. And granted, I listen. You made it to the NFL. I'm not calling you a bum. You're actually you're top 2 percentile in the world. You made the league, but Wan'Dale Robinson will not move the needle in Tennessee. I'm telling you that right now.
I think you still have more to do. Absolutely, you still got more to do, but. He got 4 years, $78 million with $38 million guaranteed. I know you don't like that.
There's nothing in your head that's saying Wan'Dale Robinson should be getting $70 million. And I know it's not all guaranteed, but come on.
Here's what else.
Average 3 at best.
I don't know, man. He last season he had 92 catches, 1,000 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Had nobody else to throw to after. Your boy got hurt. No, come on, Austin.
I'm just saying he catches everything. He's a wicked playmaker. I'm not agreeing. I'm agreeing. He's not some world beater. They need more.
70 million.
If you're paying 70, would you rather pay that money to Wan'Dale Robinson, who has 92 catches and 1,000 yards, or what the Colts paid Alec Pierce with 40 catches and 1,000 yards?
How much did Mike Evans get?
Nothing.
See,
Mike Evans is also old as dust.
But I'd rather take my chance on paying Mike Evans a little bit more than giving Wan'Dale Robinson $70 million. I'm just being honest.
That's fair.
Honest. I listen. No way.
And that would have been a big Titans move too. You think of who they get at the end of their careers. They went out and got Randy Moss at the end of his career, Andre Johnson at the end of his career, DeAndre Hopkins at the end of his, and then you go and get Mike Evans. It would have been perfect. It would have been such a Titans move to go get Mike Evans too.
And maybe I'm just a little guy receiver hater. Maybe I just hate these little guys. Maybe I do. But in nobody's world, he should be getting $70 million.
But I think he has Wan'Dale Robinson. There's this notion that he's just a short area guy, and the Giants definitely only really use him that way until Russell Wilson came into town, and then they started ripping Wan'Dale Robinson up the seam and really showing that this guy can be a legitimate deep threat. His yards per target was way ticked up with, and yards per reception went way up with Russell Wilson. He's more than just a one-trick pony. He's not just your short yardage, extended handoff type of slot receiver. You can do a lot with him. And again, I agree. They still need to do more. He's not a certified 1. He's at best a solid 2. But he's more so fitted to be a really elite slot. And you got to go get some other perimeter guys to help take this. But I think it's I can't blame the Titans and say it was a bad move for them to go do that when they got money to just throw around. When you can go get a volume hog for a young quarterback, a guy who is sure-handed and a good playmaker after the catch, it's a good move. But I can see where you're hating. But again, and then they went out and got Joshua Williams to add to Flott, to add to Alante Taylor. Joshua Williams, this is the third Chiefs cornerback now that they have lost. And Williams allowed 51.5% completion percentage since 2023, is 5th best among all corners. Chiefs are just letting all these damn good corners go. They must have hated
that room, yeah.
I don't get it.
Everybody in there, y'all, we don't like y'all or something. We getting all y'all the fuck up out of here. Something must have happened somehow, some way.
I just truly don't get it, man. But I love what they've done for their secondary, the Titans. So I think they've done the most to rebuild a secondary that needed help. And they put a lot of good pieces back there. So I think there's some exciting things happening for Robert Saleh to come in. And obviously he's already got his guy, Jeffrey Simmons, an all-world beater, a defensive tackle. So I don't know. I'm kind of excited about what the Titans are doing. I like it. I don't hate it.
Cam Ward sit home like, man, y'all brought Wan'Dale Robinson to me.
He's got to be excited. He's just giving him the ball.
Hell no, he's not. All right, Wan'Dale, I'm going to leave you alone till next year. But I know Cam Ward was like, what?
No, that's fair. That's fair. All right, let's see if there's anything else we haven't really hit on. I mean, like I said, Anzalone to the Bucs. They desperately need linebacker help with Levante David on his. Who knows if he's even coming back at this point yet? So I think it was nice to get Anzalone. Lions are making moves to go rebuild their offensive line that they needed to really bad. I think them going out and get May, I think, is their new center, if I'm not mistaken. What's his name? Lions' new center is named May, is it? I think, because I had a thing written up on him, and now I'm just blanking on it. Cade Mays, my bad. Cade Mays. So he's coming over from the Panthers. I would watch this one. I think Cade Mays is going to end up being one of the more underrated signings. I think, he's not like a top center in football, but I think he's going to have, he's young. He's still coming up. I think the Lions made a great move to get him to come in to help an offensive line that needs a ton of help. So good for them to go and get some guys there at the O-line that's been beaten up. They lost Taylor Decker officially. So Lions making moves there. And I mean, if I want to wrap it up on my Packers real quick, they've been busy. So obviously they went and they traded Colby Wooden for Zaire Franklin, Colts linebacker, which I'm all about that. When you go trade
that's a big find.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, you go trade your 4th D tackle, who's an undersized guy. He's only meaningfully kind of impactful against the run, not a pass rusher. And you go get a guy who's recently moved from being an all-pro middle linebacker who, the Colts wanted to add more speed on defense. So they're like, we can get rid of Franklin. You put him now next to Edgerrin Cooper, who's just your fly-around guy. And you kind of let just Zaire kind of, maybe he's the Mike and he kind of just does Mike things. And you let Cooper just go crazy. And you can kind of get Zaire Franklin back in that role that got him to be an all-pro. You want to talk about a guy who would have been a good fit for the Ravens too. this dude's a dog.
Plays
You see him on the
hard.
Jeff Teague podcast?
Yeah, he was going off on Jeff Teague.
I love that attitude.
I was like, hold on. That guy's a big guy too, so I would have been like, all right, my bad, bro. I don't mean to get you pissed off. But even if you just look at him play, he's a hard-nosed guy. He got it out the mud. I mean, he plays every down like it's his last down. So I think that's a big guy for y'all that's gonna allow that defense to be flying the ball. I mean, he's a ball hog. He's just the guy that gets the ball. So
yeah, no, I love it. And in terms of comparing him to Quay Walker, like neither are elite in coverage, but Zaire Franklin is absolutely better in coverage than Quay Walker and has proven to be numerous times over. So I really like that one. But obviously then the Packers, they spent some decent amount of money on Sean Ryan, who only had a half season as a center last year, his first time as a center. Wasn't great by any means. The pass blocking's got a ways to go. He's a mauling run blocker. He plays pissed off, and I love that. But they gave him quite a bit of money to be one of the higher paid centers off of a guy who's I think he's played 9 games at center. So Packers offensive line remains to be seen, because then they went out and cut Elton Jenkins too, a former Pro Bowl guy who's coming off of major injuries, about to be 30, plays kind of regressed the last 2 years. So not really losing a lot of sleep over that, but I think the Packers offensive line right now, where it stands and how it seems that things are going to shake out with Jordan Morgan at left tackle, Aaron Banks at left guard, Sean Ryan at center, Belton at right guard, and then Zach Tom at right tackle. The ceiling is very high with this group. It just remains to be seen if they're going to be able to hit this ceiling. And there's a reason for skepticism there, to say the least. But then on the defensive side, they get rid of Wooden, they get rid of Kingsley Enagbare, they get rid of Rashawn Gary. They are cleaning out this group, man. Like for Jonathan Gannon's year 1, and I don't know when y'all listening to this now, but it hasn't happened yet. But maybe by the time y'all are listening to this, the Packers are going to get a big time defensive tackle move. All of it points to that. Them getting rid of Elton Jenkins, there was no reason to get rid of Elton Jenkins right now unless you wanted to use that cap money right now. And they've been freeing up a lot of cash recently. And right now, they're kind of depleted at defensive tackle and across that defensive line. So I think Packers got a big move coming on the defensive line, whether it be, they move up in the draft to go get one of the top defensive tackles or something. But they know they just emptied out their front seven or their defensive front. So I'm intrigued with what they're doing. You've underachieved for how many years now? So you start cutting the fat, the guys that you can afford to get rid of. And these areas needed a facelift. That defensive front needed a facelift. Micah Parsons is a good first step. Getting rid of Gary, great second step. And Enagbare, irreplaceable. Wooden, Sia. I'm excited. I'm curious to see where it goes.
The window's about right here, and it's going to keep going down. Yep. So I feel you. Yep. They better start doing, because that window going to start. You're going to start looking like, God damn, I can't see. So it's coming soon. They really should have started trimming a bit more fat last year when, the window was still a little bit more open and there was a little less pressure and the seats weren't as hot as they are now. Despite people, like Gutekunst and LaFleur getting extensions, I don't think that means that they won't get fired next season if things go south again. But, fat had to be trimmed. Facelifts were needed, and they're doing the things that you should be doing when this group that you got has underperformed for 2+ years. Gary has not lived up to expectations for years now, and he's just become a total hindrance to your defense. They're making the moves you have to make in terms of like, all right, these guys aren't getting it done. Let's get rid of this and let's try something new. We got the new DC. Let's bring in new bodies. I think they're going to go make a big move on defense too. I don't think they're done. I don't think they're near done. So, anything else from free agency that you want to add that we haven't really gotten too deep into? I can check one last time if anything else has happened, but I'm excited for the draft. I'm excited to see who these people are going to start.
Your Ravens safety, Alohi Gilman. He's now a Chief, so the Chiefs replaced some of their depleted secondary with Alohi Gilman.
He was a bum. Get him out of here. He's a bum. He's a bum. I need to stop calling NFL guys bums.
He's the elite 1% talent guys.
I need to stop calling them bums.
Ooh, the Jaguars, not the Jaguars, sorry, the Panthers went out and got Devin Lloyd, who the Jaguars did not bring back, and he was incredible for them in pass coverage last year, a Pro Bowler. One of the interesting. Yeah, I'm just reading on the Jaguars and Devin Lloyd right now, but kind of surprising they want to bring him back with how effective he was. Good move for the Panthers, good win for the Panthers to go and get him. to add the dirty defense. I mean, shoot. All right, that's a lot of free agency stuff. I think we hit on most stuff. We talked about the trades last week. I think we're pretty much caught up, and we're both in agreement that the Raiders are the offseason champs so far.
Now,
right? I agree with you. Rams, I think Rams went from a really good team to a really, really good team now. And I think they're going to be right back in the NFC Championship game based off just the few moves that they've made to shore up the cornerback room, which is really all they had to shore up. So, yeah, good stuff. All right. Per usual, we will see you on a Friday. We got a Colts fan coming on, first Colts fan. So it's going to be interesting to hear a Colts fan perspective on Alec Pierce and all other things. So I'm interested to get a Colts fan take on that. So stay tuned. And until Friday, we will see you.